Cadre. Here we are, cvargo again, or should I say Mr. McMultiblade or whatever you call me, Nurse Dave. I'm not really looking forward to today's shave, but we're going to do it regardless. I have some pretty important meetings, and so I'm going to have to do these shaves regardless because it's something that I like to do. I like to make sure that I'm clean shaven. I brought a good amount of stuff. I wish I could show you guys. I brought 3 soaps. I brought 3 of these zoologist scents, so I'll be doing different ones of these. And then as far as an aftershave goes, I brought one that dies down rather quickly, my Nautica Blue. I chose the balm-based aftershave strictly because I know the water here. I've been coming here for 5 years now, and I get mixed results here. So I tried to bring some soaps that I think are going to do well in it, but we're going to find out. And first I'm using Palmolive Min. This is the one that's made with tallow. There are some that are veggie based, so when you're buying your Palmolive, you got to pay attention because both are out there. So I've had it soaking. I just barely got out of the shower. Had a nice shower, so you guys can see behind me. Look how high that head is. For a guy that's 6'3", that's freaking awesome, by the way. They've done a couple of renovations here, and I'm in one of the newer rooms because the shower heads used to be about here. So they've moved them up. So whoever complained about that, thank you. Floor's a little slippery. I'm gonna use the towel and try and dry that off, the floor towel that they have you use. But I'm really happy with it. So let's start with the shave. I did soak, grabbed one of their little to-go cups here and soaked the Palmolive stick a little bit. And beard's a little wet, so we're gonna kind of just get this going. And I'll talk to you guys throughout today's shave about what happened yesterday. So my flight left. I'm going to talk about each time as if I am in that time zone. So we're dealing with 3 time zones: Mountain Time Zone, Central, and Eastern. Okay. So leaving Salt Lake, flight is scheduled for 6:30. Mondays at Salt Lake Airport can be pretty crowded. I know that. So I left the house at 4 a.m., got to the parking place about 4:25-ish, and they got me over there, and I got through security just fine. Took a little bit longer, about 35 minutes. And when I got through, had a little bit of time to spare, and I went and grabbed, there's this little, I can't remember what it's called, there's a breakfast sandwich place in there. It's pretty good. So I got a little thing of hash browns and an egg and sausage sandwich. It's pretty good. That's what I ate. Hop on the plane, and because we booked these flights a little bit later, there wasn't any first class seats available. So I had to sit in their comfort class, but I sat in the very first row. And I was flying with a airline that runs with American. Fly with this company in Delta primarily. I tend to fly American when I'm passing through Chicago and picking up coworkers there, because I have 2 coworkers on my team that work in Chicago who are peers that do not like to fly at all. I mean, do not like to drive, excuse me. And so they asked me to get the rental car and put the rental car in my name. So I don't have a problem with doing that. I was traveling on this trip with one of them. So, flight's going good. It's supposed to leave at 6:28, 6:30, right? Plane pushes off, and a lady, a couple rows behind me, hollers out, "My seat won't stand up." And they come over and they talk to her, and first of all, kudos to the flight attendant who first asked her to remove from the seat, and he did something and says, well, I've got it the best that I could. Are you going to be okay? And he's all like, when we land, is that your final destination? And I hear the lady say, yes, it is. And he goes, I'll get you a voucher of some sort. I don't know what kind of voucher he's talking about. I think he said, like, I'll get you some food, a little voucher food or something. He's trying to make it right so this plane can take off. And I'm like, cool. I've got to think my next flight leaves at 12:05, and this flight's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. So I was supposed to get in like at 10:45, 11-ish. Not a big deal. I'm going to have a little bit of a layover. I was going to grab me a quick bite to eat. All right, going to pause that real quickly. As most of you know, I couldn't find DE blades. I went to 2 stores, technically 3, because I also went to a grocery store, Wegmans, which is where I bought this. I bought this packet. It comes with 2 blades and a handle. The handle's okay. It's plasticky, obviously. I'm not looking forward to this at all. I haven't used one of these in 4.5 years. And I hate them. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm not looking forward to this. You guys probably, so we'll see. I have good prep now. We've got good lather with the Palmolive. We'll see how it goes. It's okay. So anyways, she's cool with it. Plane pushes off. It's pushed off. And we're waiting in line to take off because there's a lot of early flights in the morning at Salt Lake International. And pilot comes on. And he says, we need to go back to the gate. We've got a problem with a maintenance issue. Maintenance issue? What the hell? So we get back to the gate, and I finally ask one of the flight attendants, I say, so what's going on? And she says, well, the pilot was having a communication problem, and so they think they need to flip out something. They need to switch something out. I'm not a pilot. I don't claim to know anything about planes. I've never flown a plane. I don't know. But one of the communication pieces wasn't working, and they thought if they switch out the piece, we should be fine. She said they've already called the person up. Should be here soon. So 2 maintenance guys come on. One of them goes into the cockpit, and one of them goes over and messes with that lady's chair. Well, anyways, the guy in the cockpit, I see he leaves first. He's done. Well, I guess now that it's been reported that the chair's not doing well, that's an FAA issue, so guess what? Now we're waiting even longer for the chair to get fixed. 90 minutes later, pilot's like, don't worry about it, it's 12:05 and we're getting in. I think we're going to make up time. The winds are good. I think we're going to make up time. It's clean travel, and it was a wonderful flight. So I figured, okay, let's go with this. Pause real quick and rinse. All right, so we're getting ready for pass 2. So we take off, and we're in the air, and I'm sitting here and I'm watching my clock, and my watch syncs with my phone. It's still on mountain time, right? So we're an hour difference here. I'm watching it. 10 o'clock. We land at about 10:30, and I'm pulling up and I'm looking where I'm at, and we're coming in on gate H14, and I got to get to gate H1A. And I'm very familiar with O'Hare. I fly in there a lot, especially in my previous position that I held with my company. I was flying 1 to 2 times a month, and it was between Phoenix, here in Pittsburgh, New York, and Chicago. I'm very familiar with Chicago. So I'm like, okay, that's not far. I just got to run up the rest of the terminal, turn, and it's right there on the concourse. H1A, easy. So those of you that have been there, you know the worst part about O'Hare is that you might land at 11:30 local time, and your next flight's at 12:05, and you think, oh, I've got plenty of time, I'm going to make it. Taxiing. That airport is so big, you're going to taxi for a long time. And I'm sure our resident pilot, if he watches this, he could confirm. This is what killed me, guys, the taxiing. So we're taxiing, and people on the plane are upset. They're freaking out, right? Everyone's got connecting flights. A lot of people do. So here's the plan. We get up to the gate. It's 11:55. Waiting for the door to open. The app on my phone goes off. Gate change. Gate change. Quickly text my partner who I'm meeting. Did the gate just change? He goes, yeah, it's over at G19. Well, G19 means I gotta go out, run past the security concourses, make a turn past the little sports bar, and then drive down, haul butt down there. He goes, yeah, he says, they changed it before. I don't know why it just barely showed up on your screen. I thought you already knew that. They changed it right 5 minutes before boarding. I'm like, that's just great. So, and this plane out was first class. I'm upset. Hop out of the plane. Now it's like 11:55, 58. I start hauling. I get up there to the gate. It's 12:06. Plane leaves at 12:05. I can see the plane still hooked up to the thing. And I say to the lady, I need to get on that plane. She goes, sorry, door's closed. And I could still see that the plane door was open. And I'm like, I've got to get on that plane. I've got to get on it. I'm like, I made it. She's like, sorry. And they shut the door. I can see in the window. I mean, I know there's probably certain rules and all this type of stuff, but I was upset. Pull up and I look later. They considered that plane leaving at noon. Early. Out of O'Hare. You don't let a plane leave early in O'Hare with all the connections coming in there. I was mad. So I try to get my composure into me, right? Because now this woman, I need her help. And it's not her fault necessarily per se that my plane was late. I've got to put on my big boy pants and be nice. So I say, well, can you help me? I'm like, I need to get there today. I've got to be in there the next morning for a presentation early. I've got to be there. You know, and she says, well, let's go see what we can do. And so I hand her my itinerary and everything, and she pulls it up, and she goes, well, it's not good. I'm all, what's not good? And she goes, there's a lot of storms in the southeast, and there's a lot of storms just a little bit south of us. She says, and it's delayed a lot of stuff. I guess New York City, Delta released a bunch of vouchers and everything like that with all the flights they had canceled. So I'm only doing 2 passes. I can feel my face. I can't do a third, but I am pretty smooth. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let me pause you and rinse real quick. So anyway, she says, it looks like Charlotte is where you can come out of. There was a flight that was supposed to leave earlier, but it's been delayed because the flight coming in from Philadelphia hasn't made it yet. They couldn't take off because of the storms. So she said, I can send you to Charlotte. The plane leaves in 40 minutes, no, boards in 40 minutes. So like 12:45, it's going to start boarding. And you'll get in, you're supposed to get into Charlotte, and I'm somewhat familiar with this airport. You're supposed to get into Charlotte around, what time did she say? 3:30-ish? Eastern time, right? And she says, there's a flight to Rochester, but it's full, and it leaves at 4:15. She says, I'm going to put a note in the system that you're not technically on standby, but if you make it, to try and get you on this plane. So I'm like, okay, fine. And then she says, if not, I've got you a ticket for a flight to Rochester, but it leaves at 10 o'clock at night. Puts you in at midnight. I'm like, all right, well, it is what it is. I'd still be able to make my meeting. So she says also, she says that none of your seats are going to be first class. I'm sorry. You were in first class, but I went ahead and I've given you a bunch of, I added some vouchers, not vouchers, I didn't get vouchers, but she added extra miles to my account, and she said she put 2 upgrades in there. I don't know what that means, but this is my secondary airline. It's not my primary airline, so my miles don't rack up as fast on this one as it does the other one. So I'm like, okay, I got a little bit of irritation over there. You guys can see that 3-blade monstrosity. Tomorrow's shave I'll record and we'll talk more about the razor. So the shave's done, but I'm going to finish the story real quick. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, so where do I got to get on this Charlotte plane? H13, of course. So I turn around and start heading back. No time to stop and get anything to eat. I get over to Charlotte, and a couple of things. I'm hungry. But I'm like, I'm used to fasting, so I'll be okay. I've been eating these little pretzels on the plane and having some ginger ale, because I don't care for American Airlines coffee at all, personally. So I hop on, I get on the plane, get in my seat. This is a regular seat. Wasn't happy about that, but it is what it is. I'm tall, so I like to at least have the extra leg room in the comfort seats. So I get going, we get on the plane, we take off, and we land at about 3:30. Mind you, we landed on time. Probably actually a little bit before, like 3:25. We had a taxi, not as bad. And thankfully, the stewardess, and I love this about stewardess, if somehow any of them see this, thank you. When they know the flights are being delayed throughout, and they know that things are happening, I love what this guy did. He says, there are people who have connecting flights, please raise your hand. I raise my hand. And he kind of says, what times? And everyone's kind of blurting out. And he says, if your time is within the next 30 minutes, you leave now. You stand up, and we're and he's like, when we get to the door, let these people off first, he says. So I really appreciated that, because that helped a lot. And we came in at C15 or 16, and I knew from the lady that told me, she said, get to gate C9, because that's where the earlier flight leaves. So after taxiing and everything along those lines, it's 4:05 when they open the door to the plane. And I get off, grab my gear, got my suitcase, my backpack on, and I'm hauling it to C9, which isn't that far. But hey, I'm a referee. I can run 100 yards pretty good. Get up to the gate, and the guy's all like, all right, let's shut the door. And I'm all, no! No! And the lady at the counter goes, are you on this flight? And I said, well, I'm not, but I want to be. And she goes, what do you mean? And so I said, I'm like out of breath, and I'm like, I was in Salt Lake. We got delayed. They've rebooked me here. They said to try and get on this one to avoid the 10 o'clock one. She goes, let me see your stuff. So I hand it to her, and she pulls it up, and I don't know if they put notes in the system or what, but she goes, oh, okay. She goes, you made it. And I go, well, I hope I made it. She says, you're getting on this plane. And I was like, oh, thank the Lord. Got on the plane, got into Rochester, got the rental car. Rest went out without a hitch. So last night went and found a nice burger joint, because my partner, who ended up taking a taxi, he already went out to eat with another coworker, and so I went to dinner by myself. Grabbed a burger, hit up the Rite Aid and a local pharmacy, hoping to have better luck there. No luck. Went to Wegmans, grabbed a snack and stuff like that. And so here I am now. So that's the beginning of my trip. I hope the end of my trip isn't as eventful. There's my shave, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying bingo. This one got pretty long because of the story. The Gillette monstrosity actually did okay. A little bit of irritation. We'll talk about this more tomorrow. I wasn't going to buy anything with more than 3 blades. I wanted a 2-blader, but I couldn't find anything. So I paid $9.99 for that. Came with that and 1 extra cart. So it is what it is. But anyways, hope you guys join us at www.theshavingcadre.com. I hope you guys enjoyed today's shave. Tomorrow we'll talk more about the gear that I brought and about all of that information. We'll go through that and go through what my travel stuff looks like. So I hope you guys all have a good day. Enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the forums.